I don't know why. Sometimes, even though I know people are going to be people, and I've learned radical acceptance that they're going to be people, you can't change people. But sometimes it does still hurt when I hear certain things that people say. Like, I'm older, and to hear a younger person, even somebody commented on one of my videos and say you're just babbling, but they didn't listen to the whole video. I guess they didn't have the attention span to listen to the whole video. They just took out a small portion. And then recently there was a younger person talking about his mother and his grandmother, and he was saying how you guys are so dumb. You didn't learn anything. The only thing you know how to do is work like a regular job. You listen to everything that the news told you and fell for it. And, he was just going all in how bad that generation is, my generation. And I was like, I agree with him because up to a certain extent, because I do agree how it's hard to talk to people, some people that are my age that are still caught up into religion, or they can't have a decent conversation without criticizing any other people, without looking into themselves or having critical thinking skills, and just bashing the young people also. And I see so much potential and strength and just awesomeness in the young people that have come through the war on drugs era. And a lot of, because of the things that we went through in our generation and passed it on down to our kids, I believe that it's a strong generation coming behind us. But to be able to talk to somebody my age, some of them, I agree, is totally lost, totally gone, totally extremist people. And, at one point, on one level, I agree with it. But then again, I'm hurt by it because it's like, I'm old, but I do like to get on the internet, my social media platforms, and share that's the only thing I know is my work experience, traveling around in the military with my husband, he was active duty. I was the military wife, and with 3 kids, having seen a lot in this world and work in several Army hospitals, several veterans hospitals as a civilian. And I do have a world of experience. I even had a younger family member tell me, "You ain't nothing," when I divorced my husband after 30 years. And I was like, wow, just because I divorced and I didn't stick with it, that hurt me too. But I'm just trying to get the strength to continue to be aware that these are the way some people think, but to not block it out. I do want to be aware of it. I'm glad, they're speaking their mind, but I don't want it to stop me from saying and doing what I want to do.
So I know what I'm experiencing is normal, even with radical acceptance and learning radical acceptance, because word can still sting, because they tap into your identity, who you are as a person, and the experiences that you have lived through. It's not a weakness that it hurts. It's a sign that one values respect, that your life experiences holds weight, and that you want to make an impact if you feel this way. So I have here, it says why it hurts. Disrespect of experience. When someone dismisses your life's work, your sacrifices, or your wisdom, it feels like erasure. Generational judgment. The narrative of your generation failed ignores the complexities of survival, carrying families and pushing through wars, economic struggles, and systemic oppression. Identity triggers. Being called nothing after decades of building a life and raising children cuts deep because it denies your value at the core. Why young voices, and not all, some, push back. Many younger people are frustrated with the systems they inherited, and rightfully so, I feel it. And sometimes they direct blame at older generations without fully recognizing the battles those generations fought, which they don't need to, but it's just, I'm just bringing this up, and I'll explain why. Their sharpness often comes from pain, anger, or impatience, not necessarily truth. Their words reflect their lens, not the entirety of reality. And it's good that when I say I want to explain it, that you bring out your feelings and how you really feel and put it on the older generation. That's good because you're letting it out, you're brain dumping, you're saying how you truly feel. But my thing is to those that are receiving that, whether it's your parents or grandparents, like the young man said, y'all are dumb, you're not shit, things of that nature. And so if it's the older person that's receiving that, I wanted to say it's okay to listen instead of continuing to point the finger at the younger person and saying, all these horrible things about schooling, about drugs, about the way they take care of their kids. If you can't give lessons or help them to understand or some type of direction of wisdom, and understand they don't have to listen to you because you have gray hair, because you have wrinkles, because you have the experience, but find out what they're looking for if you can help. But that demanding stuff is not working. And then to don't get offended. It's going to hurt because you're human, if you are human, and if you do have any type of feelings within you. It's going to hurt when you hear these things, but to not snap back at them, the younger generation, because they say these things, but to try to emphasize, just understand and listen to what they're saying, how you can make an impact from what they're saying, if that's what you believe or want to do. And, it's not, don't take it as a beat down from them, even though they're giving it to you as a beat down, as you may give it to the young people as a beat down. But at the end of the day, that is not building a bridge to come together. That's building a wall even thicker, So, reframing your role. You're a bridge. You hold lived wisdom and the humility to see the strengths in the younger generations. That combination is rare. You're not just babbling. You archiving wisdom through your content, and for the people ready to receive it, it will land. You don't have to force anything on anybody, but you can continue to be whom you are, on both sides, the young side and the old side. Sometimes seeds take years to grow, so your perspective is resilient. Few people can hold space for both agreement and hurt, saying, yes, I see what's flawed in my generation, but also you're not erasing me. And that's a big key, where you may feel as though attack for attack. You know, if a dog attacks you, you're going to kick them and attack them back, or, you know, something like that. And, but what you can do, even if they don't want to hear anything you have to say, they don't want to listen to you, you can go on and do and continue to do how you do within, you know, the way you work, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you do your business, and say, you know, I see my flaws, but I'm not going to let you erase me. I'm still here. I'm not in the body bag yet, and I'm going to do how I want to do, for whom I want to do, without, you know, your erasure, which you're trying to take the pencil with the eraser on it and erase me because of the age difference. And so, but with that, you don't have to force your views or force your experience onto them. You had to learn, you know, I had to learn also by trial and error, by a lot of mistakes and things of that nature. So they have to go through, some of them, the same thing. And a lot of them, you may not think they are wiser than you, as, you know, being an old person, someone with knowledge and experience, but a lot of them do have extensive knowledge. Guess what? They come from you. They come from the older generation, right? But that's not to be thrown up in their faces. You know, you see the beauty in them, even though some may not be doing it the way you want them to do it at the time and the time frame you want them to do it. You know, but when they're ready, it's on them. They're not ready, it's on them. The same with you, me, or those that are older folks. You know, some of us are so immature, and, you know, we can't get beyond bashing other people and get beyond, you know, not having a listening ear for understanding to help solve problems that we may not know the answers to, but just to be not agreeable, not loyalty I'm talking about, but, you know, just try to come together and in listening to both sides, regardless of if someone is young, if someone is old, if someone is beautiful, if someone is ugly, if someone is fat, if someone is skinny, if someone is whatever, you know. So shutting down, pause before internalizing. Remind yourself that a stranger's 2-second judgment doesn't outweigh 30-plus years of lived experience. Transform the sting into content. Use these moments in your videos to talk about what it feels like to be dismissed, yet continue speaking. So that honesty is powerful. Set boundaries in value. When comments are cruel, like you ain't nothing, those aren't critiques. They're projections. Reaffirm. That's not mine to carry. Lean into your lane. Your story is unique. So like mine is military life, raising kids through the hard eras, adapting through decades, and giving perspectives that no one else can from my views, right? So radical acceptance doesn't mean to be numb. It means saying, I feel this pain, but I won't let you dictate my purpose. And your purpose, sharing what you know from your lived life, is valuable. Even the voices dismissing you prove your stirring thought. Silence means invisible. Resistance means influence. So, I don't know. I do want. I don't jump into boxes. I don't get into no boxes that anybody try to push me into. But I do want to be on the side of trying to, hold a hand or lend my helping hand and to build a bridge rather than a wall. Peace.
Standing strong. Standing strong. Standing strong between generations. Sometimes it isn't easy to hear the words people say, especially when they come from those younger than me, those who see only a small part of my journey and decide I'm babbling or irrelevant. I accept that people will be people, and part of radical acceptance is realizing I can't control what others think or say. But that doesn't mean it never hurts, because my story, my experiences, and my heart have real value. I've lived through eras some only read about, raising a family through the war on drugs, supporting my spouse in the military, working in hospitals where lives hang in the balance, and learning hard truths through both joys and struggles. My journey isn't perfect, but it's mine, full of lessons, pain, and growth. So when I hear words that sound dismissive, when I'm told I'm just working a regular job or fell for what the news told me, I remember every generation has its own battles. Yes, my generation made mistakes. Yes, we struggled and sometimes we missed chances to be more open, more critical, more embracing of change, but we endured. We paved roads, even if some needed repaving. I'm proud of the strength and brilliance I see in younger generations. Your creativity, your fire, your courage to question. These are gifts the world needs. I see you, I hear you, and I want you to know that critique and progress go hand in hand. But I also stand in my truth, refusing to let anyone else shrink me down. My story isn't erased by criticism. My wisdom isn't worthless because I'm older. My worth isn't measured by who stayed or left, by old mistakes or new ideas. So I keep speaking, I keep sharing, not because everyone will listen, but because someone might. And maybe that message is exactly what they need to hear. We need bridges, not walls. And I choose to be a bridge. Thank you for listening. My story continues, and my voice matters, as does yours.